Hello all and welcome to Horologique. And before all, let me wish you a happy new year. May it be much better than 2020. And let me tell you that 2021 is going to start very strong for the channel because I've got a lot of really special watches lined up for review. So here's a small glimpse of what we are going to have only in January. So Rolex, actual Rolex GMT Master 2 Batman, the Grand Seiko that you have already seen the unboxing for this one, and the beautiful Zelo Skyraider V2. The V1 is my highest watched video, so check that out if you haven't yet, and I hope this one does as well, if not better, fingers crossed. So thank you so much for those who have subscribed, and to the others, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see all these and many others. I will not be forgetting, of course, the homages and the Exciton, of course. I've got to dissect that Exciton. And we are going to kick off the year with a very simple but very rare Seiko 5. And this Seiko 5, as you can see, its main feature is that beautiful Arabic number dial, and by Arabic I don't mean the usual Arabic that we Westerners are used to, but I mean actual Arabic numbers, as you can see, and you can guess them. Some look like ours and others don't look at ours. Most don't look like ours at all, so that is pretty interesting. And before I forget, the reference is the SNK063J5. And this one is very rare. It's not produced anymore, although with Seiko you never know. It might be like another SNKLO23, you never know. But in any case, it has not been produced for a couple of years now, and it is quite sought after. And that is a pretty nice thing, and it was lent in by a very good friend of the channel. So I'm really grateful that people are starting to lend in pieces, so thank you very much. So this is a pretty dainty watch, only 34mm across by 11.5mm in height by only 39mm in lug to lug, and lug width does not matter because it has an integrated bracelet construction. And you know, this is quite a risk for these watches because you know the reputation of the old Seiko 5 with the shields regarding bracelets. Bracelets are known for being pretty bad, and this one is no exception. It's only a fold-over link bracelet, and that makes it quite fragile, so if anything happens, well, you just have to source a whole new bracelet from Seiko. You cannot source it from anybody else, so that is quite a pity. I will show you that later. Let's start with the main feature of this watch, and that is this beautiful true Arabic dial. And the interesting thing is that we are not really used to these in the West. It's a black glossy dial. On top you've got an applied Seiko and a 5 shield, which is applied as well. At 3 you've got a date and a day complication, courtesy of the caliber 7S26, or the Immortal, as we might call it. And below at 6 you only have the automatic and 21 jewels. And at the very bottom of the dial you've got the Made in Japan text. There's a minute track at the outside of the dial, and every 5 minutes or second has a bigger dot which is loomed. So that is a very nice touch. And the hands are sword hands, and they are loomed as well. The hour and the minute hand are loomed, and the second hand, it's just a very simple baton hand, and it is not loomed. Protecting the dial, you've got a piece of Hardlex crystal. Hardlex is a hardened mineral crystal, property of Seiko, and it is a bit more scratch resistant than plastic or mineral crystal. But as you can see, this one over the years has accumulated a couple of scratches, some deep, some not that deep, but they're visible anyway. And I guess that it would not have had them had it had sapphire. But anyway, it's what you get at this price. And you have to know that when these were available for sale, they would trade any day for less than $100, sometimes even much less. And now they're going for, compared to those $70 to $100, they're going for sometimes crazy amounts. I've seen some go for 500, 600. I mean, that's an insane amount compared to the base price. But anyway, it's because of the rareness and the fact that people are ready to pay those amounts. The bezel is brushed and it's flat, but for two small parts at the top and at the bottom of the bezel. Those are reminiscent of the two shiny tracks that you have going along the bracelet. So a pretty nice touch. Personally, I'm not a huge fan. I would have preferred them to be complete. I would have preferred the bezel to be completely brushed, but it's a design decision and it's not a bad one. The front of the watch is vertically brushed, and the brushing is pretty good if you consider the starting price of this piece. From the front of the watch we have a bevel joining the top of the watch and the side of the watch, and that bevel is polished and it goes all along the length of the watch on one side and the other, and the sides of the watch are fully polished. The polishing is pretty good, not of course to even Presage standard, but pretty good for what you used to pay for this watch. And the crown is pretty small, and it's at 345, let's say, and it's sadly not signed, but that was quite a trademark of Seiko 5s at that time. And of course, Seikos are known for their great lume at pretty much any price point, and as you can see, this is no different. A pretty good amount of Seiko Lumibright on those indices at every 5 seconds, and a very good amount at the hour and minute hand. So very good, and more that you can ask for a watch of this type at this price point. The bracelet is one of the main features of this watch because of its construction, because it's an integrated bracelet, and there are other models of Seiko 5s at this time that also did integrated bracelets, which might not be the best idea because Seiko 5 bracelets are known, or were known at the time, for being pretty rubbish, let's be honest. They're just folded bracelets. If you can see there, the part where the bracelet is holding the case is very small and pretty, and it's not really solid. So if you were to give a big push, a big stretch to this watch, you might break it. So there you go, that was an odd decision, but anyway, that's the way it was made, and it was all made for looks. And it is not a bad look at all. In fact, this watch, from my point of view, is quite a looker. With that Arabic dial, with that integrated construction, with those shining parts of the bezel and on the bracelet, it exudes a bit of refinement. So that would be its main selling point. The way it looks, and of course the oddity of that dial and in a smaller way of that integrated bracelet. So at the back of this watch you've got the really entry-level Seiko 7S26. Entry-level but pretty famous and really well regarded, because these movements equipped, for example, the SKX for almost 30 years, 25 years, and these movements are known for going decades without a service even. Their accuracy and their power reserve is not great, and their main weakness is that they have no hacking and no hand winding. So in order to wind these watches, you would need to do the Seiko shuffle, which is, well, you just shake the watch like that. Of course, that would not be a problem if you were wearing the watch all the time, but if you have a larger collection, you will not be able to do that. To my knowledge, there is no equivalent of this watch in the modern Seiko range, and this makes it more of an oddball and a pretty desired timepiece. Alright, that's pretty much all I had to say about this watch. As I said, keep tuned, because I'm going to be releasing reviews. Many nice reviews are coming, and many comparisons as well. I am dying to compare that modern Rolex to all the Chinese high quality Saint Martin, especially Saint Martin, to see how these fare against the mighty Rolex. Okay, so guys, thank you very much for having watched. Don't forget to subscribe to see the upcoming reviews, and thank you very much, and I'll be seeing you very soon on the next video. Goodbye.